in the United States in Mountain Standard Time, it's 11 o'clock. I think we're ready to start. In Saudi Arabia, it's 9 o'clock on the dot, and we're ready to get going on this. And so welcome, everyone.
That's great. And Dr. Jake, you're recording this, so this will be available for everybody. Greetings, everyone. This is Dr. Ray Lindley. I'm Executive Director of Array Global Educational Services. We are so excited to be with you again today. We've been doing these workshops for several months now, and to this date, we've had over 3,000 people who have been on one of our Zoom calls. However, we have many more than that who have been watching us on Facebook Live. And so we're so thankful that we're able to share these workshops with you and be available for any help that you can give. So I'd like to introduce the workshop in just a moment. Before I do, you all know Dr. Jake and Dr. Jacob Francom, who's the Associate Executive Director of Array Global International Schools. We work together regularly, even though geographically we're 500-600 miles apart, thanks to the internet and the advances that we have. We talk regularly, so it's great to have you all here, like Dr. Jake, to talk about what's going on in Array Global at this time and what's coming up.
Yeah, thanks, Dr. Ray, and welcome, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to see so many people from all over the world joining in on this Saturday evening in many parts of the world and wanting to learn and grow and develop and be better educators, especially during this difficult time that many of us are going through with this pandemic. I want to go over a few different things. The first thing we wanted to do is just recognize our partners. We have a couple partners on with us. We have Epicenter. They're going to be talking a little bit later on. And then EduEnhance. So these are our great partners, and we just wanted to thank them for all the great work that they do. Also, we wanted to recognize the Institution of the Month for February. It is Egyptian Virtual School. And if you haven't been able to get onto our Facebook page to see some of the amazing things that they're doing, I really encourage you to do that. They hosted a outstanding online science fair, and they have some videos that you can go through and see. And we wanted to do Institution of the Month, Student of the Month, so people can get some good ideas of things that are going on in schools that they could possibly implement. So just good congratulations to Egyptian Virtual School and all the other previous Institutions of the Month that we've had. We also wanted to recognize, we have several ministries of education from different countries. This time I know we have Miss Shilan Khalil from the Kurdistan Ministry of Education. We wanted to recognize her and welcome her, and again, any other people from ministries of education. We also have some big news that we want to share. We're not going to be able to do that right yet, but in the near future, we have some great news that we're going to be able to present about the direction that Array Global is going. Throughout this workshop, just a few different items. If you have any questions or you want to make a comment about something, please do that in the chat box. And then also at the end of the workshop, we're able to give you the slideshows that Mr. Ahmed Ali is going to be presenting to us. And then also we're going to be letting you know about the next workshop. And I'm really, really excited about the March 20th workshop. We actually have the presenters on with us today, Miss Jessica Leneve and Miss Gemma Liberty. They're going to be focusing on prioritizing our standards that have happened because of learning loss, because of COVID. And so at the end, we'll give a little overview of that. And then also at the end of the workshop, we will give you the post-survey workshop, the post-workshop survey, so you can make sure that you get a certificate for this workshop. So I think for me, Dr. Ray, that's it.
Great. Well, it's again, welcome to everybody. I was explaining to our presenters today, we have an American phrase called a twofer. And what that means is you're getting two for the price of one. And since the price is free, you're getting two workshops today. We first of all want to introduce two ladies who are working as partners with us. They're based in the United Arab Emirates in Dubai, and we are working with them not only for the work that we're doing in the United Emirates, but also with some of their training. And Iram Farouk is the person who will be probably leading this off, and Bushra Ali is the other person. I think you can see their photos there. And what we've asked them to do, because we believe this is information that could be helpful to everybody, the services that they offer, they're going to talk about EduEnhance and how the programs that they offer are available to our array global schools. So Iram and Bushra, welcome. The microphone is yours at this point.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ray and Dr. Jake. It's an absolute honor and a pleasure to be here today. Good morning, good evening, and assalamu alaikum, everyone. We understand that you're based in different parts of the world, following different time zones. So we really appreciate you taking out the time and being with us today. My colleague Bushra and I are super excited to be on this platform today as partners of Array Global, because we would like to share with you the journey we've had in education thus far in the region, and also the support and services we offer our education fraternity here in the region. Bushra, please go ahead and introduce yourself. Bushra? Sorry, is there a sound issue?
Hi, Iram. I think I just froze up for a second.
Oh, no worries.
About that.
Technology glitch, hazards of technology. Please go ahead. All right. So Bushra and I are very pleased to be here. And Bushra, would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure. So everyone knows my name, and I'm School Support and Partnerships Manager at EduEnhance, basically responsible for building relationships with institutions and educators such as yourselves to bring them the awesome stuff that we do.
Great, thank you. So we have a short presentation, and we'll begin with the introduction of who we are. We are a company called EduEnhance, and as the name suggests, we strive to enhance and improve the education experience for all students and educators. Now, in order to bring these cutting-edge solutions to the education fraternity here, we have partnered with leading companies like Array Global, like Curriculum Associates, and Epicenter for accreditation services, for professional development, and for cutting-edge solutions and programs. EduEnhance, this is our second slide. This basically, we would wanted to share with you what our ambition is. Sorry, Bushra, could we go back to the previous slide, please?
There we go.
Thank you. So the ambition, or the reason why EduEnhance was really founded, was to revolutionize learning for children, because we believed that we should not limit children in terms of their potential or what they could achieve in life by virtue of their circumstances or their geographies. So the idea was that we bring in cutting-edge technology and solutions and programs and services to our part of the world and make sure that we are supporting the educational institutions, the educators, and ultimately the students and their families in achieving this target. And one of our core values is collaboration. And we were lucky to have found Array Global, Curriculum Associates, Epicenter to work with us in this endeavor. Thank you, Bushra. Next slide, please. Now, this is a graphic representation of what we do. And our services look something like this. So at EduEnhance, we support with accreditation services in terms of facilitating schools with self-evaluation, with their school improvement plans, with the implementation of new strategies and programs, and professional development. So we are facilitators, we are supporters, we are perhaps your partners in meeting the Array Global accreditation standards and the local regulatory standards and requirements. Next slide, please. Thank you. Now, a bit about our journey in education and how we got into support and supplementary learning. So I'm a teacher by profession, and I was certified from Cambridge University and started my teaching career 15 years ago in learning centers and in institutions where personalized learning was offered to students, but using traditional methods. So back in 2012, in Dubai, we founded a learning center where a blended learning was the methodology that we were following, because we understood that personalized learning is the way to go. This is the 21st century. There's enough technology out there to make sure that not every child has to learn the same way. Every child could have a personalized experience in learning. So we did a lot of research. We used different programs. And at the end, we implemented a program called Iready, because Iready was offering a complete solution in math and English, the two core academic subjects, for grades kindergarten to grade 12. And it offered personalized intervention pathways for every child. So that was just the perfect solution for us. We received some great feedback from educators, from parents, from children. We became partners with Jen's Education as well. We used to go into their school buildings with this program. We partnered with the Dubai government to offer summer camp intervention programs as well. So there was a great response coming from this program. This basically encouraged us to form a partnership with Curriculum Associates. We were appointed by them to become their representatives in the Middle East region, in North Africa, Pakistan, Turkey, and Nigeria. And with Iready with us and the great companies that we've partnered with, we are very pleased to tell you that there's been no looking back. We are really, really excited about our work in the region. Next slide, please, Bushra. Thank you. These are some of the schools from where students used to come to us in the Learning Center to work on Iready. And it was pretty amazing to us that the program, although based on Common Core standards, was a pretty skill-based program, and an approach was very, very curriculum agnostic. So we started observing improvement in all the students' performances based on this program, using this cutting-edge technology with adaptive diagnostics and customized instructional pathways for every child. Next slide, please. Now, these are some of the schools. So since 2018, we started implementing these programs from Curriculum Associates in school buildings, and Iready, Ready, and Brigands are the three leading products. And we cover personalized learning for grades K to 12, math and English with Ready and Iready. And then Brigands is for early childhood development and for special education needs. So between these programs, we were able to cater to a lot of needs in schools in terms of personalized learning. Next slide, please, Bushra. Now, our approach has always been about personalized and customized solutions, so that one-size-fits-all approach does not work for us. I don't think we need to go back to this approach. Traditionally, yes, we have had classrooms with 30 children, following the same lesson plan, doing the same topics. But with technology on our side now, we feel there is no need to limit ourselves to a one-size-fits-all approach. So our customized solutions work for children as they work for education institutions and educators, because that is what we strive for: customized learning and intervention and instruction for everyone. Thank you, Bushra. Bushra, over to you now, because Bushra has been with us for some time, and now she has spoken to educators, and these are some of the common challenges for educators that we have experienced here.
Thanks, Arams. As you introduced our story, our journey, what we offer, and our approach, it's time to think about how do we apply that to our partner institutions to address their concerns and to address their requirements. So first, let's think about some of the common challenges that educators such as yourself face topmost is definitely quality. Quality is always a key concern, not just in terms of meeting the requirements of your local, authorities, ministries, but also in terms of the curricula that you offer, whether it's the American curricula, Common Core standards, or the British standards. Second is professional development for your educators. So as new technologies come out, new tools and techniques, new research comes out, how do you keep upgrading your knowledge to stay up to date, to be able to offer the most current standards of education to your students? Thirdly, with so many new tools and technologies on the market literally every day, how do you select one that's right for you? Fourth, being an educator, you're dealing with different stakeholders, not just your students. You're also dealing with the community, you're dealing with authorities, you're dealing with school leadership. So it's really important to be able to generate reports and have the data that is needed to be able to keep everyone informed on where you are and how you're progressing. And finally, we're all keen to partner with international partners. It helps us upgrade everything that we're doing. But at the same time, we need that local support, that boots on the ground, to be able to sustain our efforts and make sure that what we are implementing aligns with local standards. So these are the common challenges that we are all familiar with. And how does EduEnhance, apply its custom approach to helping you resolve these challenges? I'll quickly walk you through our process, which is 5 steps, and summarized in a handy diagram over here, but I'll try to walk through it quickly. The first is self-assessment. It's very important for us to begin by understanding what you think is the issue your institution is facing, whether it's in terms of professional development, whether it's in terms of student achievement. It's very important for us to understand where you think you stand. So we share a simple form with you that you could take a few minutes to fill out, or ideally sit down with your educators, sit down with your team, put some thought into it, and let us know what you think are the key challenges your institution is facing. Second, once we understand your point of view, we want to come in and do a bit more research to understand what we think is really happening. This could involve some discovery sessions with you, or a more detailed, comprehensive research process with site visits, classroom observations, teacher interviews, and other forms of data collection. Third, now that we have an understanding from your side what the problem is and our own view of what the problem is, we can propose an improvement plan that addresses your needs. So it may not just be that, hey, let's implement one technology, one tool, and that will fix all the problems. We understand that you need to bring together a suite of solutions sometimes. So training and solutions, ed tech solutions at the same time, to be able to get your standards up to speed with what is required. Finally, we don't just give you the plan. We want to stay with you every step of the way as you implement it, so you have full support from our team and our partners. And finally, once we've implemented the plan, we don't say bye and never see you again. We want to stay in touch with you. We want to know how the plan is working out for you, if it needs to be updated, if there's something else that might be needed. So we're there. We want to stay in touch with you every step of the way. So now that we've talked about some common challenges and we talked about our process, it's time to think about right now. And I want to take a second. I know we're kind of running out of time, but as educators yourself, what are some of the greatest challenges that you are facing in your school? You can drop that in the chat box and we can read it really quickly. I'll give you like 10 seconds to do that, if you're able to. So what are some challenges that you are facing, the greatest challenges that you are facing in your school right now? Lack of tech and resources. Thank you, Ferouz. Maybe a couple more answers. I think we're kind of aligned on this more or less. All right, so just to skip to that, I think we can all agree that these challenges are pretty key at the moment. Internet connection, I feel you there. My own connection is quite unstable sometimes. So I think we're all on the same page. It's 2021, we're living through a global pandemic. Our learning is a mix of on-site and online. Implementing blended learning is the need of the hour, and practically overnight in 2020, we're all thrust into this crisis where we have to implement it within hours, right? Secondly, with this massive transition, and also with just all the different updates and tools and technologies and standards that are coming out, educators very naturally feel overwhelmed. I'm pretty sure all of you feel overwhelmed one way or another. So that is even worse right now because you have students in the classroom and you have students online and you're managing all of that at the same time. Finally, given these circumstances, how do you keep up? How do you measure and manage student engagement, student assessment, and also their performance? It's pretty difficult to do that, or at least we haven't, using traditional methods, we cannot do that. So how can we help you address these concerns? I think Aaron kind of gave you a window into how we're positioned to do that. But just in terms of the solutions that we need, three key things are needed. First, be able to diagnose learner needs with surgical precision. So not just an approximate, but we should be able to pinpoint this is exactly what the student needs. And then think about personalized instruction, point number 2, while maintaining grade level focus. Third, engage all learners via social, emotional, and culturally responsive practices. It's not just to provide the instruction. If the instruction is not geared towards the student's understanding and social emotional state, then it's going to be lost on them. This is where we really think personalized blended learning with Iready is an effective solution. It's basically an example of our approach in action. We do offer other solutions as well, but we think this is a really good example of the power of EdTech tools. And it's proven, especially with 11 million Iready users already, more than 760,000 daily logins, and more users across 50 plus countries. We do think Iready has proven its efficacy. So what's under the hood of Iready? Why are we talking about it so much? So we can cover all of it in 3 main boxes, basically. The first is adaptive diagnostics, in the sense that the first step is always to understand what the child needs. So Iready has a diagnostic tool that measures exactly where the gaps lie for the students in math and reading. The second is personalized instruction. So once Iready has identified the gaps, the student, an automatic learning pathway is generated, personalized learning pathway is generated for each student. And they can then get instruction in those areas, in their learning gaps, so that they can catch up to their grade level. And thirdly, the teacher is always at the heart of Iready because they have the resources, lesson plans, books, resource bank, and a back end where they can monitor the students' progress, they can group students by ability, and they can see how students are improving over time through growth monitoring assessments. Iready really does provide a complete solution, and I feel like I cannot do justice to that in this particular presentation. So if you're interested, do get in touch with us and we can talk about it further. So like I said, Iready is an example of what sets our solutions apart. So we really thought about the suite of solutions and services we're offering, and we've made sure that they can do all the following, which is, first of all, to be inclusive and cost effective. So with us, it's more like we don't just provide you the tool, we also provide you the training. And then with Array Global, we can also offer you accreditation to get your efforts recognized to improve your quality standards. Secondly, to be inclusive, which is an important target for many of the countries that you're from, technical support for any solution that you're implementing, professional development that is catered to you, and ensuring that every solution, everything that you're implementing fits well together. Data-driven is key in the 21st century, and we're also thinking about early childhood screening, assessment, and intervention, as well as high school transitions skills for identified special education students. So I've kind of shared a lot of information with you. You're wondering what's next. We're going to drop a flyer in the chat where you can access this needs assessment form and go through it and see what do you think your school needs at the moment, and then we can chat about it. Besides that, we also have a bunch of workshops coming up with Curriculum Associates, Array Global, and Epicenter Education. Again, you can stay informed with them through our partners, through us, and get invited. And finally, we're very excited to launch an Education Leaders Forum on LinkedIn. It's a private group where we're inviting educators who see themselves as education leaders to come join us and be a part of exciting conversations. And what we're encouraging everyone to do right now is post a message on the group or record a video and send it to us, and we can share it on your behalf, asking and addressing the question, what are the greatest challenges for which education leaders must prepare in 2021, and how can they prepare for them? And with that, I think we come to the end of the presentation. I didn't get a chance to ask Dr. Jake and Jessica both have had experience with Iready. So what do you think? Am I overselling it?
Yeah, I was just going to jump on, Bushra. That was excellent. So many awesome tools and programs that you have in place. And just from my point of view, we use it in my schools in the United States, and it is an integral part of what we do as a school. The students take those tests every single month to track their progress. They set goals with their teachers. That data also drives our school improvement process. And then the wraparound services that Iready provides too is amazing. And they're not paying me anything to say anything like this. So we've been using Iready for several years, and it's something that has really transformed our school and our school district. Jessica?
Yes, thank you. So I'm with Epicenter Education, also not paid by Iready, but I also am a kindergarten through 12th grade principal here in Las Vegas, Nevada, United States. And I work with the system of 5 elementary schools, 4 middle schools, and 2 high schools. We used to rank 3- and 4-star schools, and it was literally the year after we integrated Iready that every single one of our schools rated 5 stars out of 5 stars. And it is hands down the reason why our students have an individual pathway to their learning. I got really offended at first because we all use this word differentiation as our buzzword, and I thought I would just kill myself as a teacher to try to differentiate for my students. And when I was told that it's impossible for one human to do that for all 30 students, I was like, I do that. But the reality is that this program differentiates truly to the myopic levels of their learning. And it is hands down the reason why we've been successful. And it is the #1 reason why our system of schools have been able to continue our students' education throughout this pandemic. The day after they were sent home, we were online with Iready continuing their education. So I cannot say enough amazing things about the success of Iready in our schools. We've wiped out our core math curriculum and implemented Ready's math curriculum so that it works in tandem with the online components. I'm again, not endorsed by Curriculum Associates at all, but cannot say enough about this program. I would just encourage, over 50% of schools in America use this program, and it is some of the highest performing schools that are using the program. So I love it. Any questions you have, feel free to reach out to us.
And
thank you so much. Sorry, I have to thank you both really, because it seems like sometimes I'm the only one here in this part of the world where I have actually seen the efficacy of the program over 7-8 years. And I know it works for English language learners, for special education
Special
students.
education, yes.
So it pretty much, it is really personalized and differentiated. So thank you so much for, giving this endorsement as well. Appreciate
Well,
it.
and then just to add on with that, because there's a lot of comments on Zoom and on Facebook of the challenges that people are facing in education. Some of them with internet connection, we and Iready can't help out with that, but so many other things in helping with COVID learning loss. That's where Iready can really come in and really support you. There's some questions about cost and the specific tools and supports are available through Iready. Please reach out to Curriculum Associates and they can work with you on that. So I think now, Dr. Ray, back to you.
Yes, thank you, and thank all of you. We're excited to partner with EduEnhance, and one of the first things that we noticed when we started considering working together is that they have the same motivation that we do. Our motivation is we want to help students grow and learn. That's #1. And everything underneath that leads to helping students grow and learn. And we have that same motivation. And we want to say we really appreciate the work that they're doing. And these services that they're talking about are available to anyone, and you can contact them to find out more information. Somebody had asked for contact information, and that was at the end of the slide presentation by, I believe it was Bushra who was in at that time. But this will be recorded, or it is being recorded. You can always go back and get that. I want to jump now to the main portion of the subject today. I'm so thankful that I've seen many of you comment about all of the information that you're receiving today and how it is very helpful to you to use this. But I want to introduce Mr. Ahmed Ali. We work with Ahmed. I probably have worked with Ahmed 10, 12 years, something like that. And one of the finest educators with which we work. And really want to have him present. I could start to explain what he's going to do, but he can do it much better than I can. But all I can say is hold on to your seats, because he's going to give us some exciting tools that teachers can use to improve classroom instruction and student learning. Ahmed, welcome. The show is yours.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ray. Thank you for your nice words and your nice presentation. I don't have much to say because, or I don't have much time to waste because actually this presentation is designed to be given in like a couple of hours. I'm going to squeeze this in 30 minutes. So just pray for me that I can maintain time management and finish the presentation on time. Technology and learning, and this is so much related to what Bushra and Iram have just talked about. And this is, we can say this is trending nowadays, and it's forcefully trending because of the pandemic. But I believe that it's just a door that has been opened and it's not gonna close again, even if life comes back to normal. I'd like to start my presentation with this quotation, which I just, paraphrased from one of the papers I recently read, which is the definition of literacy is no longer confined to reading and writing. Rather, it ought to include the meaningful utilization of technology and how far learners can interact with it. This goes back to 2009, so we're talking about 12 years ago, and the technology has started to like spread out in all fields of our life, including education, which led some researchers to believe that it is part of literacy nowadays. If you are not tech literate, then I mean, there is something missing with your literacy. It's not just about reading and writing as it used to be before. The main topic that I'm gonna talk about today is called call. And call is not the word that we know to call somebody on the phone. Call is an acronym for computer assisted language learning. Computer assisted language learning. How computers can help in language learning. One of the very first people who talked about call was Levy in 1997. He made a book called Computer Assisted Language Learning Call, and there he defined call as the search and study of applications of the computer in teaching, in language teaching and learning. Another definition of call could be the range of processes and activities that make use of computers in the teaching and learning of a new language. I have to give a short theoretical background. This will take almost 5 minutes because I have a lot of applications to talk about. So very briefly, we have two acronyms that emerged like 40 years ago. The first acronym that started in the United States was CALI, which refers to, or which stands for Computer Assisted Language Instruction. However, like a few years later, another acronym which actually talks about exactly the same concept called call emerged, and it is most frequently used nowadays. And the only difference, if you just consider why do we have different names for the same thing? Look, the first three initials are, or the first three letters are the same, computer assisted language. Here it's the old one, I for instruction, however, L for learning. And we just need to, because it's very interesting to understand the philosophy behind the domination of call over calli. It has to do with the view of language and the view of learning and teaching. In the past, the traditional methods relied on the teacher's role as the main source of knowledge and the main source of everything within the classroom. And the students or learners had some sort of a passive role. However, with the communicative approach in teaching the language, which started to appear in the 1970s and became more widely known and adopted in the 80s and 90s, and so far, it just fosters the role of the learner in the educational process. It is not a teacher-centered process. It is rather a student-centered process. And that's why learning, which fosters the role of students, is much more used nowadays than instruction, which like more or less describes what the teacher does within the class. Maybe one of the first questions that might come to our mind is, what are these activities that use computers in teaching and learning a new language? I think we all have answers to this question, and let me just take this opportunity and engage you within this workshop. I'm just creating a Padlet here, which I'll just go to and share with you in the chat. And if I may ask Dr. Jake to just go to the same link and share the screen there. I just want you to go there and tell me what are some activities that you might use in which you use computer within the classroom. How can you use computer? What are the activities that you can implement? I'm writing this in the chat just in a second. Yes, please, if you can just go to this link, and if I may ask Dr. Jake to share the screen.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think you have to sign in. Just go. Tell me, how can you use computer within the classroom? What is the benefit of computer? Forget about the online teaching and what we have to do nowadays. Even in a face-to-face environment, how would you use the computer within the classroom? What are you going to use the computer for? I can see some answers, and I'm just gonna approve some of them, and they will appear at
Yeah, we have a lot of coming in.
Yeah.
Mr. Ahmed, these are really good. Competitions, research, online lesson, watching videos link, Nearpod, using Kahoot. It looks like people are Class Dojo, using a lot of different tools out there, showing the students YouTube videos.
So I can't read all this. We have limitless applications of the computer within the classroom. Some of you have used some assessment tools. Some of you have used teaching tools like graphs and PowerPoints, making a presentation, showing a YouTube video.
And the thing that's exciting about these lists that keep coming is we don't need to be afraid of computers and online students. We need to help them understand how it can be useful to them. And that's really just a matter of monitoring and helping them understand that it can be very helpful. And I saw there's Quizziz again, and Ahmed's going to be talking about that in a few minutes. That's a great tool, by the way.
That's really interesting. That's really interesting. And you see, I mean, in just 1 minute, we got like a huge list, which we cannot actually like read it all. So let me just get back to my presentation again. Thank you so much for the feedback you have provided about the usage of computers. I'm just gonna list, let me just skip this part. I'm going to list some of like main 4 types of programs that uses CALL or computer assisted language learning. We can use CALL specific software like using like CD-ROMs, web-based interactive language learning exercises and quizzes. We can use generic software like this is that is there in every computer, like Using the PowerPoint is an application of call. Using Words and PDFs and Excel is an application of call, as long as you are using them for educational purposes. We can use web-based learning programs like online dictionaries, online encyclopedias, blogs, etc. And we can use computer-mediated communication programs like online chat, email, discussion forum. The Padlet that we are using is one of these applications. So there are so many types of activities and types of programs that you can include in your classroom. Now, let me ask you a more important question, which is why call? Why do you think call makes a difference? Why do you think it's effective? Why do you think using computers in classrooms makes a difference? Is it just because we have to? Is it just because it's trending and we have to like cope with the trend and so on? Or do you think there is like some sort of efficacy, real advantages that computers give to the educational process? There is another Padlet. I'm so sorry, this is the last one. Okay, there's another Padlet. This is a more important question. I'd really appreciate your feedback on that. So just go to this other Padlet, which I've just put in the chat. Okay, just post your comments there. Why do you think computers make a difference in the educational process? Okay, so I'm going to approve some of them so that they will appear one by one now.
And Ahmed, just so you know, there are people posting it in the chat and they're posting it on Facebook, and you have some great comments. I like Mr. Ahmed on Facebook. It's great. And they have some awesome feedback.
Thank you. Okay, I have a lot of interesting answers here.
You know, and the other thing that I'm seeing throughout all of this, it's student engagement. This is the world these kids live in. They live in a computer-generated world or an online world. And so by doing something like this, it gets them at the level of their own interest.
I can see the word engagement and active and games. Yeah, I can see that. The whole generation is well. Okay, great. More effective and easier, more interesting for pupils, help students engagement, again, increases engagement. I can see the word engagement like the most common one here.
Are you able to share them so we can see on the Padlet?
I thought you were sharing this.
Yeah, I'm sharing the screen, but it's not populating it yet.
Okay, just a second. Is it clear now?
There you go.
Yeah. You see what I'm doing here? This is just if you are a teacher and in your class and you would like to control what appears on the screen, you can actually have this option, which is, you know, whether you approve or delete what people are writing. Because, you know, sometimes if you're doing this with kids, you cannot have full control on what they might be writing. And that's why it would be important to have control over that. Thank you so much. Thank you. Let me give you, and this is what I believe is the most important thing here in the theoretical background, which is realizing the efficacy and why it makes a difference. Number one, it like analyzes and pinpoints errors and help provide remedial activities. If you look at the platforms that are there nowadays, and I'm going to talk about some now, these programs don't just provide an engaging and interesting, you know, teaching tool, but many of them actually provide feedback on what students are doing, provide assessment for students' answers, and offer remedial activities and tips. One of the very important advantages of CAL, or computer assisted language learning, is that it supports learner autonomy, which is proven by research to be a very important concept in learning. I'm not talking about learning languages, but learning in general. Learner autonomy and having the learner responsible and accountable enough for his or her own choices is very important. And this is provided by CAL because, again, every student has the free choice to answer the questions, to submit and give some feedback on the questions, and so on. Another advantage is that it caters for individual differences. And this is what Bushra and Iram talked about Iready. This is really important, how to cater for the different needs of different students, because we know that our classrooms are not, or our students are not the same. And you know, the one size fits all doesn't work anymore. So how can you cater for the high achievers and the low achievers and the average students? This is what computers can really help with. It is interactive, and learning is a two-way street because you can get feedback unless you provide a response. So the students have a response, and based on that response, there is a feedback. It solves the classical or the classic teacher problems, like capturing the student's attention. You all talked about engagement. It solves the problem of engagement, especially with the elements of gamification that are there on most websites nowadays. Last but not least, and I would say this is on top of everything, this is also what I quoted from one of the research papers. Chappell 2009 stated that many researchers who follow Krashen's input hypothesis, and I'm going to shed light quickly on that right now, use technology as a supportive and scaffolding tool in language learning. Simply, Krashen is one of the pioneers or pioneer theorists in language learning. And in 1985, he came out with a theory that consists of 5 hypotheses about language learning. One of them talked about the affective filter. The affective filter are, you know, the variables that affect student learning, including motivation, self-confidence, stress, and so on. Krashen argued that as long as you can avoid these elements that hinder students' learning, like if you put the student in an environment which has low stress, in which the student feels more confident, then there is a great potential that learning is at its maximum. And this is what computers actually provide, because the student can actually relax, chooses the time when they do they choose the time when they do or make their assignments. They choose the place. The student can actually use the computer and do the assignments within their own rooms at their own most comfortable time. You can just compare this. What is, or what would make students less stressed? Having to answer on the spot within the classroom while the teacher is asking them, or having to answer questions while they are within their homes, not surrounded by anybody, and they have, you might actually time them, but you know, the more or the less they are stressed, the more learning gains they might achieve. All right. CAL, or computer assisted language learning, can be used to teach, to reinforce, to test, and to practice. So you can use it in different stages of the class. I have to skip that because I have to move to the most important part of our presentation today, which is the applications of CAL. Look, Each of the applications I'm going to shed light on might need like 30 minutes to explain. So I cannot explain it, but you can just consider that an eye opener to everybody. This is what I do. This is what thousands of teachers do. You have, this hint, and you have to go and investigate more and search and see what fits you within the class. One of the most famous, it's a mobile application and it's a website at the same time, is FluentU. And here, because I can guess that a lot of you might be bored now by a lot of talking and talking, let me just show you a less than 2-minute video which talks about one of the applications of call, and I found it very interesting. So just, it's 1.5 minutes. We're gonna watch this video.
This is Dave. He's trying to learn a language the traditional way. He's trying to learn a language the traditional way. But they only teach him boring grammar and phrases he would never use. It's not going well. This is Cindy. She's learning a language with FluentU. It teaches her through real-world content like music videos, movie trailers, and the latest news, so she learns how the language is actually spoken. Every word and phrase is defined in context, so she can pick up on the little nuances that other methods miss. Meanwhile, Dave misses all the nuance, which is why he just said something wildly inappropriate. The content on FluentU is really engaging, so instead of being a chore, learning a language is fun, or whatever this is. Dave, on the other hand, has been asleep for hours. It's not just entertainment, though. FluentU has lessons and quizzes to reinforce what you've heard. Only FluentU immerses you in native content, so you learn the language and the culture at the same time. And that's key. Because when you learn a language in a vacuum, you wind up saying things that get you chased by an amateur soccer team. When you learn with FluentU, you learn how to speak like a local and make real connections. Bring language learning to life with FluentU. Sign up for a free trial today.
Of course, it's not free. I just got this as one of many examples that you might see for the application of computer. And by the way, this is because it's a mobile application. Again, there is another term which is used for years now, which is MAL, which is Mobile Assisted Language Learning. I went to that website in order to investigate, and I found that it teaches almost like more than 20 languages. So it's not just for learning English. You can use it for learning so many languages. There is a huge list on their website. You have, of course, to subscribe, and there is a free trial at the beginning, but you have to pay after that. Anyway, this is what I want to spend even more time today on, which is Quizziz, which I consider one of the very effective tools that can be used in classes. Let me take you there, and there is a quiz that I prepared for you on Quizziz. We can offer a gift, Dr. Ray, for the top performer on that quiz. Okay. Anyway, this is the website. What is really useful about, or what is really effective about the website, is that you don't have to create everything. There are I'm not exaggerating, but there are millions of quizzes that are already there, and you can use them for free within the class or as a kind of assignments. As an English language teacher, I just would like, of course, this is my library. I have a lot of quizzes. I have some folders. I use them with different classes, but just to have like a wider range of benefits, let me just ask any one of you, maybe if you are a science teacher or a math teacher, just in the chat, write any topic that you would like, for example, to test your students on. And maybe you don't have time to create a test, so you would like something fun. Solar system, okay. So this is a science topic. Let me just copy this, or I'm just gonna show you how to use the website very quickly. All I need to do is to go to explore, okay? And then you choose, or you type here, solar. It's just lagging, I'm sorry. Yeah. Solar system. You see how many results here? 470,000 quizzes, more than 470,000 quizzes on the solar system, ready-made, ready to use within your class on the spot. Of course, I don't recommend that you use anything on the spot because you have to look at the questions. Sometimes I find like in few cases, I found like mistakes in model answers because again, it's made by humans like us and they can make mistakes. So simply, first of all, you can just view without getting in. Here's the first one. When you hover with your mouse here, you see how many questions there, and you can even go through the questions without having to click. Okay, if you hover your mouse on the second one, there are 10 questions. Here, 20 questions. And I can scroll down here and I can see whether these are appropriate to my students. And by the way, here it tells you this is suitable for from 4th grade to 7th grade. Here, for example, 6th grade, here 5th grade, and so on. Very simply, you can just choose any quiz. You can edit for free. You can keep it on your library and you can apply it in your class. All what you need to do is you just go to copy and edit. So it's duplicated on my account. I can edit now the question. If I want to delete the question, I can delete the question and I move on to the second one and so on. When I'm done with the editing, I can add questions if I'd like to. Here, new question. And I can decide, is it a multiple choice, is it a checkbox, a poll, open-ended, whatever. Once you're done, what you need to do is, you can even change the name, the timing for each question. Then you click publish. When it's published, you can use it on the spot, live, and I'm gonna do one live quiz with you now, or you can assign it as homework and you set some deadlines for the students. The good thing about this website is not just the immense number of quizzes that you might find there, but actually the gamification elements that you will find there. I'm not going to explain, I'm just going to show you that. I'll go to my library. Here is a quiz that I created. Of course, this is not something that I found on Quiz. I created that myself. You can create any content in any language as long as the keyboard supports the language, and you can get pictures and so on. Here's a quiz that I prepared for you about array. So I'm going to start it with you right now. Here's how it goes. If this is a class, I'm going to click there. Sorry. I'm going to share the link with you. You can find the link in the chat. It might ask you to sign in, however. You can sign in with your Google account. You can sign in with an email. It doesn't request a lot of information. I appreciate it if you just go to this quiz and have this quiz. It's just 5 questions. It will take only 1 minute. Okay. When people join, I'll see them here. So Amani is the first participant. Sorry, I haven't used the title. Amani, Sarah, Denver, Lisa. Okay, so when we have like 50 participants, I'm gonna start the quiz. Let me just give a chance for more people to join. And we will have a leaderboard. We can have ranking of everybody and so on. I have 13 people who joined. If it asks you for the code, just type this 652 655. 652 655. Let me share the link again. Yeah, definitely. You as a teacher, you control everything because you control what types of questions and so on. I have more than 30 now. Great. It's an interesting quiz about Ray Global. So all these are people who joined. Okay, so I have 50 people now. Just for our time, I have to start. I'm so sorry. I know that some of you might be joining now. I'm so sorry for that. For those of you who haven't joined, you can just see as a teacher what you're gonna see as a teacher here. You can mute the sound. Let me end the quiz just to. Okay, 10 more seconds. Okay, so this is simply how it looks like. It gives you like, of course, Dr. Jake, you're on top. You didn't want anybody to get the prize.
Yeah, no, I wanted them to get the prize. I just wanted to
Okay.
make sure that it was working okay.
So what is really good,
one.
and I do this in my classes a lot, is that I review questions and I see which questions had the most number of wrong answers, and I discuss that with my students. So your role as a teacher doesn't stop here. I mean, if you think there is a point of weakness, you have to go there. Here, for example, we have, who's the executive director of Ray Global? Okay. Well, is it my mistake? I think it's Dr. Jacob, right?
No, that's right. No, you have it right. Dr. Ray is the executive director.
I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. So like we have 23 who said Dr. Ray. Here, most of the people answered it correctly. Accreditation, certification, consulting. We don't provide teaching. How many standards? Okay, 5. Here, all the answers are correct. Not hospitals, definitely. I'm happy that nobody chose hospitals. So we work with schools, colleges, online schools. And finally, there are a lot of wrong answers here. And I already expected that because it's really confusing. We have student of the month, we have teacher of the year, not teacher of the month. And we have administrator of the year, not administrator of the month. So this is a kind of feedback that you might give to your students in your classes if you use quizzes. I don't want to spend more time on quizzes. I advise people to go to YouTube, just type how to use quizzes. You will find long videos explaining everything. It's very interesting, very useful, and it doesn't take time. I mean, you have millions of quizzes that are already made there. Another platform is wordwall.net. Look, all these references will be sent to you, and I put them in the last slide. Wordwall is one that you can also use in your classes, and it has a lot of games that you can play in your classes. And again, there are a lot of ready-made games. Of course, you can subscribe or pay in order to get more features, but you can use it free. And so again, just as quizzes, I'd like any one of you to write any topic in math, in science, in English. I'm going to take the first one and put it here. Just write any topic that you teach in your classes and you would like to have a game on. Verbs, okay. Okay, verbs. So I just wrote verbs in the search box. And look, more than 10,000 results for verbs. Okay, let's say this one on action verbs, for example. Let me just click this one. What is really good about this one is that there are a range of games that you can actually implement on the same topic and on the same quiz. So here on the right hand, do you want to have it as a group sort or a game quiz show, maze chase? I like open the box a lot. Okay, so just go, click start, and start playing. It's interesting because the students have to choose random number, and based on the number that they chose, you have the answer, and it's interesting. Let's say, for example, I pressed 9. Okay, so help. Would you say, for example, help, helply, helpful, helper, helper? Which like suffix comes with help? So if I choose this one, it's correct. And then you might select another student or another team. You tell them, for example, you can use it online. Like if you have 20 students in your class, divide them in 5 teams. And let's say, for example, team 2, choose a number. They choose 4, for example. They have to answer. And the first answer would be, so let me just choose a wrong answer now. Like if I chose visibly, for example. Okay, so you lose a point and so on. And it will appear later, there will be another chance. This is another platform. Wordwall has a lot of games, interactive games. I advise you to go and explore. It's very easy to use. Let me move on. I'm sorry, I'm speeding up because we're running out of time. But again, as I told you at the beginning, it's just an eye-opener. You go and you check. Bamboozle is one of my favorites. Let me just show you something there, because this is one of the websites that can work best with teams, and it's very engaging to students, especially if you put them in teams. Again, I'll just go there. Okay, and here just go to games. As usual, I'm going to ask you to write about any topic. Any topic. Fractions. Wow. Okay, because we used math and we haven't used math today, so this would be interesting. Fractions. So all these are quizzes on fractions. Of course, you have to go first and check whether this is suitable to your students or not. Let me just go there. Look, first, when you click on the game, you have all the questions here. And from here, you can decide whether this is okay for your students or not. Let's say that I decided that this is okay. Here on the left, you can view the answers. As a teacher, I'm talking to you in the preparation stage now. As a teacher, just click show. It shows you all the answers now. 2/6, fraction, numerator, and so on. You can hide. So the answers disappeared. So you can hide and show the answers. You can edit the quiz, okay? You can study and you can play, okay? So, and this is what you can do in your classes. Let's say that I'm gonna play this in my class. It tells you how many teams do you want to have? 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's say I have 4 teams. How many questions do you want? Do you want 8? It has 24. We can choose 8, 16, 24. It doesn't matter. So I usually use quiz, not classic, because classic gives like power-ups to some teams. They consider it unfair, and I don't like that. So I choose the quiz mode. And it's really interesting. If you look up, you have team 1, team 2, team 3, team 4. Again, if you have students, you have 4 teams in your class, you can unmute team 1, the 4 or 5 members in team 1, and tell them to choose a number. They chose, for example, 7. Here they have the question, what's being shown in this model. So they have to say what fraction is it. They say the answer now. Let's say, for example, they said 1/4. So you will, in front of everybody, you will say show. Okay, these are these are the choices that they have. If they chose 4/8, okay, which is a wrong answer, you're gonna click here. Okay, and no score, no points have been assigned. If it's not an MCQ, it will tell you as a teacher whether you put points for them or not. And you can control how many points for every question in the settings. So now we're going to move on to team 2. Okay. So team 2, because they give a wrong answer, team 2 has a chance now. They would say, for example, 4/12. Okay, it's a correct answer. So team 2 will choose, you can even control the points that they get. Here, 2/6, the number below the bar in a fraction is the numerator, denominator, fraction. So let's say, for example, numerator. So here's, they could have gained more points if they got the right answer at the beginning. Now 2 wrong answers. So as you can see, the team got nothing. Team 3 will have a question. What's the fraction being represented in the model? It's 3/7. Let's give a right answer from the very beginning. It's 2, I'm sorry, 2/6. Okay. So, okay. Every question has a number of points based on the difficulty, and you as a teacher can control, and by the end of the lesson, you can see which team is the winner and so on. So there's another website. Let's go to another one. Readtheory, which is my favorite if you are an English language teacher and you would like to improve the reading comprehension skills. It needs a lot of time to explain, but I'm gonna just shed light on something. You can create a class on Readtheory, and you create accounts for every student. I'm gonna show you a real class now that I started just last week. Okay, students have a placement test at the beginning, and what is great is that, look, I started this only last week, and over this week, my students made 231 quizzes on their own, not in class. All right. So you have knowledge points and everything. I'm just going to show you, if you want to have an individual student performance, you just go there, click any student. You will see this student, for example, had 15 quizzes. He passed 5. And passed here means over 60%. Okay. And you have like a graph for the student. What is much even more effective is that you can view the quiz history. You can go to the quiz in which this student, for example, scored 75%. If you want to discuss with the student, you can go there, you check the student's answers. So he answered this correctly. Okay, here. He gave a correct answer here. Here he gave a wrong answer. He chose long while the correct answer is old. What is really good about that website is that when you give a wrong answer, it gives you an explanation. Why is this answer wrong? Why is B wrong? Why is C correct? And so on. Let me just choose another student with like more or higher level, a higher level student. So
we're running, we run past our time.
Okay, so anyway, yeah, this
your contact information is available to everyone, and your email address, and it would be very beneficial to anybody who wants to contact you and ask for more information. You have shared some very exciting information. Is there anything that you need to share that if you don't get to share, you'll feel that, that time is lost?
We're already here in Readtheory. The last one was IXL. IXL doesn't have, you can do it freely, but it wouldn't be as effective. You can just go and explore IXL, and there are a lot of videos. We can just share some videos as well explaining them. That was my last one. These are the references, many interactive games and websites that can be used in classrooms. Here's my email if you would like to inquire about anything. I tried to squeeze and speed up as much as I could. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and I'm done.
Well, thank you, Ahmed. And you know, one of the exciting things about working with people that we work with, Ahmed being one of them, he's excited about what he's doing. And I think that that is really important for a teacher to feel some excitement about what he or she is doing. I want to just quickly say that sometimes we are asked, well, what's different about Ray Global Educational Services? And I think what you've seen today is why we think we're different. We are providing all of the help we can for people all over the world. As you've seen today, we've had people from 3 different countries who have been presenting today, and we believe that if we tie all this together, we'll have ideas for everyone. I want to conclude with just one statement, and thank you, Iram and Bushra and Ahmed, for the outstanding presentation today. Reminding you all again, this is recorded and you will be able to access. I hope you can access it and show it to your teaching staff members who are not on the workshop today, because it's vital information. But I want to include this thought, which I'm going to post now in the chat room, and it is this. A teacher takes a hand, opens a mind, and touches a heart. And I just shared that with you. This is really what we're all about. A teacher takes a hand, opens a mind, and touches a heart. And we've seen 3 or 4 or 5 teachers today who touched the hearts of their students. And thank you so much, all of you. We want to help you do that. That's why we're here. That's why we're always, always available for assistance. So thank you again, Bushra and Iram and Ahmed, for your outstanding presentations today. I'm excited about a few of these things we've heard today, both from EduEnhance and from Ahmed. So thank you so much. And with that, we'll conclude it. As I said, this is available for you on recording, and you can reach that. And if you have any specific questions, we'll stay on long enough to answer those questions. So thank you all for attending today, and we wish you the best. Things are changing rapidly in our world today, and we're thankful that we are starting to see possibly the ending of the pandemic, and so we're thankful for that. Bless you, everyone. Thank you.